Salazar's.
He said it's much harder. He said it's much harder to be the dad watching the game than the coach coaching the game.
And Notre Dame in their home whites, and we're underway. Lindsey Allen, the 5'8" senior out of Maryland, a spectacular point guard. And right away, Notre Dame on the board.
Well, we talked yesterday about getting Turner involved early in the game. That's pretty early in the game, a few seconds in.
Stamolamprou has that shot rejected by Mabry.
The length and athleticism of Notre Dame is going to be something that Notre Dame is going to have to be ready for.
Quick pull-up jump shot taken by number 22 in white, Aaron Boley, the 6'2" freshman out of Kentucky, into the starting lineup because of continuing ankle problems by Catherine Westbeld. More on that in a moment.
Well, Boley gives them a different kind of look.
Mabry at the other end off the steal. Lays it up and in.
Well, you can't start the game on the road as a lower seed with 2 turnovers. That puts you in a deep hole to start the game.
These two teams meeting for just the second time. The previous meeting also coming in the tournament. That was in 2014. That was played in Toledo, Ohio. Easily won by Notre Dame in the same sort of matchup. It was a 16 seed versus a number 1. Megan Smith down the lane, tries to look for a bounce, doesn't get it. Ball's on the floor and picked up nicely in the lane by number 21, Michaela Moraine. Long shot on the way by Navarro, and the rebound easily taken by Enrique Ongumbawale, 5'8" sophomore out of Milwaukee. Pull-up jump shot by Ongumbawale.
She leads their team in field goal attempts by a lot. They have really turned her loose in the offense this year as a sophomore.
Averages 15 points per game along with 4 rebounds and a 45% shooter from the floor, 45% from 3. That ball almost stolen by number 15, Allen.
Well, the speed and quickness of the Notre Dame guard, Lindsey Allen and Gumbawale, chasing shooters around screens, will be interesting for Robert Morris to try to handle.
Robert Morris, again, 22-10 on the year, the regular season champions in the Northeastern Conference, making their 5th appearance in the NCAA tournament. Stamolamprou through the lane, Gumbawale easily with the rebound.
And the Brianna Turner factor with the height and length in the lane, waiting for the drive.
A strong move to the basket by number 24, Gumbawale, and it'll be a couple of free throws coming. First personal foul on Rebecca Navarro out of Galicia, Spain.
Well, on the national stage, Gumbawale was kind of revelation last year. You know, from Milwaukee, probably a lot of people outside of the Midwest had not heard of her a lot. She kind of, as the season went as a freshman, got more involved in the offense. But, you know, as I said a minute ago, they've really turned her loose. They run a lot of things for her. She leads them in field goal attempts and is a terrific shooter.
Quick early 8-0 lead for the Fighting Irish. Fighting Irish have dominated the ACC since joining the conference 4 years ago. They won the regular season and the tournament title once again. With a 15-1 record, their only loss to North Carolina State. And an obviously very good lead. 3-point shot, Moraine with the rebound and blocked in the middle by Turner. Shot clock reset for a reason I don't understand. Right at the front of the rim. Shot is missed by Megan Smith, and a foul is going to be called on number 22 in blue.
Well, when you drive the lane against Notre Dame, this is what's waiting for you. Block there, then she's going to get a rebound. She's such a presence.
Moraine picks up her first personal foul. Brianna Turner, that was her 82nd block shot so far on the season. Second time in blocks with 2:59 behind only NCAA champion Ruth Riley with 370.
Great backdoor by Mabry. Allen turned the corner. He got caught watching Allen. All of a sudden, you got another offensive player cutting behind the defense.
Nia Adams down in the lane, and finally the Colonials on the board.
Looking for an and one on that one. Well, Notre Dame's going to be a constant motion team. They play through the elbow in their post, much like UConn does. They run some print cuts, which we'll talk about later, to get guards cutting to the basket. And then, of course, a lot of pick and roll with Allen and Turner.
Mentioned that Notre Dame was looking for yet another trip to the Final Four. They've been there 7 times. Stamolamprou comes right back with a 3-pointer. Mentioned Ruth Riley in the 2001 National Championship. There were 5 years in a row from 2011 to 2015 when Notre Dame would take 4 straight Final Fours, excuse me. Turner down inside, turnaround, jump shot not there, and the rebound taken by Navarro.
Well, this program has now become one of the elites on a year-in, year-out basis. Their expectations at the start of every year is to play for a national championship.
Smith, an expert three-point shooter, that off the back of the iron, tip right. And Ogunbowale quickly out of the backcourt, crossover dribble to the front of the rim. A little bit too hard, Allen missed the tip.
Robert Morris is going to try to be patient, cut down the number of possessions that Notre Dame has the ball. You know, with the shot clock, it's harder to do that. They want to make sure they get the shot they want.
Shot clock at 7. Stamolamprou off her foot, got to throw one up. Three-pointer looks good. She started running right down.
That was the Steph Curry, just turn your back as you let it go and run back.
Absolutely, threw that one up and knew it was good as soon as it left her hand, and just like that, an 8-0 run answer. That ball deflected off the board, and here comes Stamolamprou.
This is when you'll see them run off turnovers, long rebounds. Otherwise, they're not going to get out and run every time.
Lob up to Turner and misses it out of bounds.
Well, sometimes you just need a right bounce, too. Stamolamprou, with the dribble, gets it knocked loose, picks it up, clock running out. Here's the ball picked up. So, oh, geez. Lets it go, starts running back.
For Notre Dame, a 10-0 run, answered quickly by Robert Morris, which started the Colonials, which started 0 for 8, and they have made 3 out of their last 4.
Well, offensive rebounds really help. You get, if you're the underdog and you're trying to stay in the game, and you're not shooting well, but you get 4 offensive rebounds and give yourself a lot more field goal attempts, you can knock down those threes.
Boy, and the run continues. Navarro with a knockdown jump shot, and just like that, Notre Dame and Robert Morris tied at 10 apiece. Jackie Young, the outstanding freshman out of Princeton, Indiana, wearing number 5 in white on the floor for the first time with the basketball. Notre Dame is scoreless for the last 3:15. Mabry, step back, high arching jump shot, needs a bounce and gets it.
Basically, Notre Dame came out of the timeout with a 4-guard lineup. They're going to play a little bit their basic. Mabry's going to play almost the 4 in this situation, or Young, trying to match up with Robert Morris's perimeter players. Great hedge out by Turner.
With patience, but now time winding down. Smith down inside, puts that up in traffic. Mulrain tips it out, and here's Allen. Allen steps through, lays it up and in. Spectacular finish, and will look to complete the 3-point play.
Well, Lindsay Allen almost makes great decisions every time down in transition, whether to pass or drive herself. Eyes are up, decides that she can get by one-on-one, and draws the foul.
First personal foul on Nia Adams, third team foul in the quarter so far for Robert Morris. Coming in, number 33, Nneka Azibu, outstanding freshman out of Ewing, New Jersey. She can be a force down in the post. Allen to the free throw line, where she is a 72%er on the year and making her 146th consecutive start. And remember, we spoke with Allen yesterday at practice. I said, look, during the course of your 4 years, wasn't there a start when you had food poisoning, the flu, a sprained ankle? And she just said, no, I play for the Irish. We're lucky.
She's durable.
Yeah, not only incredibly durable, but she said there was not one game when I was not able to play, and she's done that now for the 146th consecutive time.
Very engaging to talk to.
Absolutely.
Very serious when it's trying to be serious.
Yep.
She is unquestioned as the leader of this team. They follow where she leads.
Turner battling down inside, tips for the offensive rebound, comes back out to number 14, Michael Johnson, whose time has been limited because of a shoulder injury, but Marina Mabry, 38% shooter from outside the arc. The 5'11 sophomore from Belmar, New Jersey, knocks down another from long range.
She has a quick trigger. She knows how to get it off quickly. And it's one of those oh my gosh moments when you see her standing by herself.
Stamolamprou feeling it, step back. Mabry had the rebound. It's out to Allen.
Let me check and see how I'm feeling now.
That might have been a heat check, and now really poor transition defense by the Colonials right now, and a quick timeout called by Robert Morris. Yeah, thanks for joining us once again. The opening round of the Women's NCAA Championship presented tomorrow morning at 11 Eastern on ESPN2 with number 16 seed Albany taking on UConn, looking to make it 5 in a row. The Huskies' pursuit of another perfect season continues, and it's also streaming live on ESPN and the Watch ESPN app.
Well, we've said it a couple times already. Robert Morris, again, when they got in the hole earlier, needs some quality possessions.
Shakima Dashiell, 5'9 junior out of Salisbury, Maryland, number 0 on now for the first time for Rob Morris. Nia Adams to inbound, 6 to shoot.
The band was refereeing that play down there.
The Notre Dame band, by the way. Yep. How do you think they saw it?
Not the way the officials saw it.
Stamolamprou having to force that up against the clock. Deep position right in the post, and before Turner could turn and get rid of the basketball, a foul is going to be called against Robert Morris's Ezigbo. Her first, and now already Robert Morris out of foul, so it'll be free throws the rest of the way. The final 132 of the opening quarter. Notre Dame right to the front of the rim on the inbound play, but Turner comes up a little bit short of Mabry.
Robert Morris probably hadn't seen that one before. That looked like a new look for Notre Dame when they put the 3 other offensive players way away from the basket. Robert Morris is trying to take Stamolamprou off the ball and try to get her off screens and let other people handle it.
Adams down the lane, rebound by Ezigbo, unable to convert that with the left hand. Inside of a minute in the opening quarter. Once again on the screen and roll. Good finish, and there was some contact there at the end. But another basket for Brianna Turner, the 6'3 junior out of Pearland, Texas.
Well, all of the Notre Dame players have learned to throw it up to Turner. She's got great hands. She catches everything that you throw in the lane. So all you can do is get it up above the defense, and she'll go get it.
Adams trying to get down the lane, and a blocking foul is going to be called on Lindsey Allen as she picks up her first personal and just the first team foul here in the opening quarter with only 31.6 seconds remaining.
Well, a lot is being asked of Nia Adams, who is not a starter, to come in and fill the shoes. And you know, she's kind of had to play both guard positions also, like Stamolamprou. And there's not the same continuity in their offense that they had earlier in the year.
Christina Nelson, number 21, has come on for Notre Dame, replacing Turner. Ezigbo down the lane. I told you that this was a very active young player. The 6'2 freshman had 18 points, 5 rebounds for Robert Morris in their Northeast Conference tournament semifinal before the Colonials defeated Bryant 65-52. Anna-Niki Stamolamprou was the most outstanding player of the conference tournament for the 2nd year in a row as Christina Nelson picks up her first personal.
Robert Morris' staff is really high on this kid. Ezigbo is, just as you said, aggressive. She has no fear about going against anybody in the lane.
Has a nice release. You see
Very
that
nice.
On the free throw. And she is going to be an outstanding player. Again, just concluding her freshman season. Shot clock is off.
High ball screen.
Allen change of pace, throws up the floater, rattles in and out, rebound taken inside. Good strong rebound taken by Jackie Young. And some contact
that's
down.
That's a hard
inside.
call because the defensive player is holding their ground and the offensive player is kind of jumping back out from the baseline. And I think Smith basically fouls her face right here.
Which is never a good eye. Oh, wow.
Yeah, she took it right in the middle of the face. So I don't know if it's on the nose or the eyes, but That's going to sting for a while.
Megan Smith going to the sideline and remembering back to their conference championship. Just last Sunday, Megan Smith was taken out of the game after diving after a loose ball and had to go through the concussion protocol. So she's not one to back down.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate call because, you know, I think she got called more for having her arms extended out instead of straight up, not vertical on that play.
She might have gotten a laceration under the eye. We'll keep a look at that.
They left Robert Morris some time here.
Here comes Dashiell, going to get a look at it. That off the top of the backboard, and once again a very streaky first half. And as you might imagine, the #1 seeded Notre Dame Fighting Irish had the better of it, leading 24-12. After
another lob, catches it in traffic, probably was an and one, and finishes the play.
Turner averaging 16.7 rebounds, first team All-ACC. Once again, the foul on the perimeter called on number 14. Michael Johnson has only played 8 minutes since January 22nd. She's wearing that shoulder brace. A very, very good defender and getting healthy at the right time, the beginning of the NCAA tournament.
Well, when we were talking about Turner, I mean, getting her involved, that would be a really smart idea for most guards when you have a post player that shoots 62%.
Navarro step back 19-footer that rattles in and out, and that's going to be a foul called against Robert Morris, going over the top of Jackie Young. And it was interesting when we spoke with Muffet McGraw about Jackie Young, the highest scoring basketball player in the history of Indiana basketball, either male or female. And look, we've been around this a long time. That's a pretty good list of players.
I mean, we were thinking of a lot of people we knew that had scored, and she just automatically finds a way to get herself in scoring position.
And just as we're talking about Jackie Young, a miscue there, but I asked Coach McGraw about her outstanding young freshman, and she said, look, her eyes just lit up. Said she is so ready to have a big impact for us as we continue on in this tournament.
And they feel like they need that impact because the depth has been, you know, a little bit in question, especially if they get in foul trouble. And if she can be a huge contributor as well as Michael Johnson, then they have a lot more depth than they had earlier.
Especially with the injury to usual starter Catherine Westbeld. She's had a balky ankle for the last couple of months, and they're really just kind of going game by game. That shot thrown out of there that time once again by Turner.
I think Turner needs a nickname for her defense. They'll come up with something here.
Ogunbowale misses that battle for the long rebound by the Colonials. Out of Robert Morris, the 4th Notre Dame block shot.
Well, Turner, too, you know, she started the season in practice a little bit still gimpy from the shoulder injury from last year. She had the surgery late in the year last year, and took her most of the summer to get herself recovered.
A battle to the rebound. I think they're going to get the freshman Azibu from Robert Morris going over the top. And Robert Morris was in some foul trouble. That's their second team foul. They've only played 1 minute and 29 seconds here in the second quarter. Coming on for the Irish, Allie Patberg, the 5'10" redshirt sophomore out of Columbus, Indiana. Missed a lot of time battling her way back from a right ACL tear. Nice pass down inside. Right hand, left hand. That's why she's a 62% efficiency from the floor.
She's got good footwork when she makes the cut to the basket off the pick and roll. And as we've already said, great hands.
Spin move down inside, flipping it up and in. Jaylynn Burton-Jones, the 5'6" freshman out of Middletown, Pennsylvania.
She found the right route on Turner, go underneath her arm.
Here's Young, three-pointer. Boy, that looked good when it left her hand. Good block out by Azibo, working on Turner. You're just joining us here in South Bend at Purcell Pavilion. Purdue, a winner over Green Bay, setting up the matchup. The winner of this one between Notre Dame and Robert Morris. They'll play on Sunday. Nice answer by Robert Morris. They're back within 10.
Robert Morris has not been afraid to attack the basket. Despite Turner's shot blocking, they have attacked a lot already.
Ogunbowale down the lane. Good help defense. Here comes Young. And right at the front of the rim, Turner with the offensive rebound, and now she'll get to the free throw line. Playing a little volleyball up among everyone else in a blue uniform. So Turner will go to the free throw line. She'll shoot a pair. First round coverage of the Division I Men's Basketball Championship continues on CBS, TBS, TNT, and True TV. For more information on games and times, go to your local listings or go to ncaa.com. A sigh of relief here around South Bend as the Notre Dame men held on and beat Princeton by a pair just yesterday. Congratulations to the Fighting Irish as Aaron Boley comes back on. Boley getting the start, the 6'2" freshman out of Kentucky, a McDonald's All-American, and 3 times the state player of the year.
Well, Boley changes how they play. When Westfield is playing, they play more of a straight high-low game. When Boley plays, they try to spread the floor. They play her as a stretch 4. You know, here's a power forward where 60% of her shots are threes. So it gives Turner a little bit more room inside, but from a different angle to get the ball to her.
She's come in and played very well for Catherine Westbeld, but how are the Irish different with Westbeld back in their usual spot?
Well, Westbeld plays at the foul line with Turner or vice versa, and she's a great distributor to Turner in the low block at the top of the key foul line area, and she can put the ball on the floor a little bit and she can shoot that. Boley goes and plays out 3-point line, and then they run more pick and rolls with Allen and Turner. And now you have to decide defensively how you're going to help on Turner rolling to the basket. Spreads the defense out a little bit.
Westbeld has been nursing that injured ankle since January 19th, has missed only 3 games. But as Coach Muppet McGraw told us yesterday, she's dressed on the sideline, but will be only used in case of emergency. Hope to and expect her to play on Sunday if Notre Dame is to advance. Nice finish once again, Burton Jones, for her 2nd basket.
Again, you know, going right at Notre Dame. Just let's go play, see what happens. There's the ball screen. There's Turner going early.
Nice pass. Offensive foul called against Allen. Lindsay Allen just picked up her 2nd personal foul, and she had to go straight to the sideline. Knew it immediately. Good help defense by Robert Morris.
Yeah, that's when a player knows, all right, coach is taking me out. I got 2 fouls early game.
So the all-time leader in assists, Allen, goes to the sideline for the Fighting Irish. Mulrain, step back jump shot from 15 feet, not there. Boley easily with the rebound.
Boley running right to the 3-point line and Turner to the block.
Turner lost that one her foot, and a good sign, Megan Smith, after that hard shot below the eye, back on the floor.
Turner trying to make her move that time before she ever caught the ball, trying to back up. It's hard to do that. You got to step to it to catch it on those kind of plays.
Inside of 5.5 minutes remaining here in the opening half. Notre Dame led it 24-12 after 1. Robert Morris has been showing that they can challenge and take the ball to the rim. Stamolamprou with the left hand off the side of the board and out of bounds.
Well, that's about the 3rd or 4th time they've had to force a shot up against the shot clock. They need to keep those to a minimum. Go a little bit earlier.
Patberg now running the point, but as you pointed out, Robert Morris wants to limit possessions, or the number of possessions. Nice roll to the basket, but missed badly that time. Turner. Ball just slipped out of her hand as she went with her left. So controlling tempo, but still wanted to take the shot.
Yep, you're looking for. Well, they're doing a good job of screening for each other, getting open. Now, again, you're trying to force going into Turner, just stepping over that time causes the travel.
Megan Smith back on the floor for Robert Morris, called for the traveling violation. Notre Dame basketball when we come back. Purdue is certainly here, their coaching staff as well. That was a really good basketball game. And Ashley Morissetti, another fine point guard, led the way with 24 points for the Boilermakers.
Well, there's the other Marina Mabry's game that has improved. You know, she was thought of as a standstill 3-point shooter. She has learned to put the ball on the floor more, attack. She's become a better passer. And you know, quietly, she's all of a sudden the leading scorer in the game with 11 points, and you hardly notice it because of all the other people we've talked about.
And we looked at the bracket, and the other #1 seeds, Baylor and Oklahoma City, UConn and Bridgeport, Notre Dame here, South Carolina and Stockton. Nice move down inside by Megan Smith off the front of the iron. Comes Mabry, but I know you were keeping an eye on Mississippi State, the #2 seed in the Oklahoma City bracket. Your daughter is an assistant coach there.
They got off to a good start. They got a tough one now. Comes Sunday or Saturday. I guess it's Saturday. I don't even know what day it is. Sunday, I guess. Sunday against DePaul. DePaul is going to be a tough matchup for them. Coaches will be up late for Mississippi State. DePaul gets up and down the floor, and they shoot a ton of threes.
Today is St. Patrick's Day at Notre Dame. That's the only thing you need to know.
I've thought it was a long day all week this week.
Megan Smith stepping, working on Mabry, a little bit short on the first one, but the Canadian puts the ball right at the front of the rim, able to lay it up and in. A little bit of a floor and influence on Robert Morris. 3 players on their squad from Canada, 1 from Spain, 1 from Greece, and Turner answers with a left hand. Beautifully done by number 11 in white.
Well, in this tournament right now, you're seeing the healthy Brianna Turner, you know, learning to do more things on the block, using both hands, and seeing her run up and down the way she used to is fun to watch. Maybe not for other coaches, but for us it is.
Turner now in double figures with 10 on 4 of 8 shooting. Smith spinning nicely down inside, and nice English up on the ball, and it found its way through the net. So Megan Smith, that early injury, coming back on the floor and doing a good job for Robert Morris. Notre Dame leading at 32-22, 2:40 remaining in the first half. Agumbawale, 3-pointer. That looked good as soon as it left her hand.
She's really turned into a good 3-point shooter. Now I think she's up to 45% from 3 for the season. It's a huge improvement in her game.
57 makes on 125 attempts, and exactly right, Mike, a 45% shooter from outside the arc. She was good last year at 39. She's better this year. Count the basket from Stamolamprou, and she'll look to go to the free throw line to complete their traditional 3-point play.
Little hesitation dribble. The 2 defenders almost screen each other. They run into each other, and the help can't get there by the time Stamolamprou turns the corner.
First personal foul on Marina Mabry. Notre Dame now out of fouls in the quarter. That is their 4th. Robert Morris with their third team foul. Free throw up and good. The NCAA Wrestling Championships continue tonight in St. Louis. Catch the semifinals at 8 on ESPN and watch ESPN as well as the multi-mat coverage. Visit NCAA.com, home for all 90 NCAA championships, as that ball is deflected out of bounds off of Mulrain, number 21 in blue for Robert Morris. The Colonials 22-10 on the year. They won their conference regular season and postseason tournament. Once again, Notre Dame, for the 4th straight year since joining the ACC, won the regular season and the postseason tournament.
Robert Morris won 16 out of their last 18 games coming into this.
Nice catch deep in the lane by Turner. Good repost.
They just don't have the size of Robert Morris to contest that. I mean, when she turns and gets those long arms up, it's hard to get up there and affect her shot.
Stamolamprou, nice steal by Mabry, throws it on the floor now to Young.
Couldn't make up her mind whether to use the glass or not, but there's Agumbawale to clean it up.
Enrique Agumbawale, the 5'8" sophomore you talked about out of the Milwaukee area, cleaning up the miss and putting the ball down for yet another Notre Dame score as they extend the lead to 14. Stamolamprou, nice ball fake inside of Mabry, and the rebound taken by Notre Dame's Turner. If you're wondering about Lindsey Allen, picked up her 2nd personal foul with about 7 minutes to go here in the quarter. Might sit out the rest of the half.
She's over there coaching, though.
Hey, she's the senior leader. Yep. Look at her on the sideline. She's just working every possession. We'll get a shot of her when there we go. Thank you very much. Very much involved. That's what leaders do. Petberg working against the shot clock. Has got a chance to stay within range of Notre Dame. This is a good basketball team out of Moon Township, a nearby suburb of Pittsburgh.
Well, whatever you do for Robert Morris right now. You got to get a good shot here and don't give Notre Dame time to go back the other way.
Stamolamprou picked up by Young, looking for some space, now picked up by Turner. Outside, Mulrain with a wild shot. In the first 20 minutes will come to a close. Notre Dame leading at 39-25. Coming up on the Northwestern Mutual halftime report, join Maria Taylor, Rebecca Lobo, and Andy Landers. They'll all stop by. They'll catch you up on the other games currently being played. Michigan State by Marina Mabry, 5 of 7 shooting. And we're underway, and Lindsey Allen, as you might imagine, back on the floor after picking up a couple of quick fouls. Her time was limited in the opening half. Offensive rebound taken by Turner right at the front of the rim off her own miss. Gets a rebound and will go back to the free throw line.
Well, she's just such a dominant force in a game like this. You know, Robert Morris is undersized trying to guard her. They try to have to give extra help. But if you give too much extra help against Notre Dame, they got shooters all over the floor. Gumbawali, Mabry, you know, Boley, a three-point shooter. That makes it tough for you.
Mike, you coached for a long time in the NBA. Now you've been 3 times WNBA Coach of the Year. The game has changed. Post play has been de-emphasized, if you will. But where would you put Turner? It seems like there are an awful lot of good interior players in the women's college game right now.
Yeah, there are more than there are in the men's game, partly because of how the game is being taught. If you're a dominant post player in the women's game, you know, as long as you become a good passer, you're going to be able to play your game, because you're going to get double teamed if you're good, but you can now distribute too. Those players, you know, you got her, you got Asia Wilson, players like that, you know, that still dominate a game.
Young woman over at Maryland's doing pretty well.
Brianna Jones has had a terrific year, shooting 70% from the floor.
Notre Dame showing a little matchup zone. Nice still from the weak side along the baseline by Lindsey Allen. Ogumbawale pull-up floater. What a nice offensive move by number 24, Enrique Ogumbawale.
She's got a lot in her arsenal now. She's learned floaters, pull-ups, threes, puts it on the floor. She's strong body, can take a hit. Notre Dame starting in the zone this half.
Count the basket from deep in the corner here at Purcell Pavilion. Anna-Niki Stamolamprou will look to complete the 4-point play for Robert Morris.
She's going to have to keep firing, you know, for them to stay in the game. Great cross-court pass by Navarro. The defense is late getting there. She's got great shooting form and takes the hit. Charlie right there with her.
And it wasn't so sure that Charlie Biscaglia, once again the NEC Coach of the Year in his first season. Last 72 hours have been pretty tough. He spent 2 evenings in the hospital suffering very badly from food poisoning and needed some IV treatments, but looking much better today.
Yeah, he got an IV before he came on the trip and then got one when he got here.
Mabry, the nice ball fake, step inside, 17-foot jump shot to add to her total.
She and Brianna Turner have just dominated the game on the offensive end. You know, Lindsey Allen sat for 7 minutes in the first half, and they just kept firing away. I think the zone might be to protect Lindsey Allen a little bit here in her foul trouble too.
Long three-pointer missed, rebound taken by Jackie Young, getting a lot of playing time, the outstanding freshman for Notre Dame. Unselfish look down inside. Young digs it out, stolen by Stamolamprou.
One pass too many.
Yeah, defended nicely. And not proper spacing. Space the floor a little bit. Nice defense that time by Mabry to break up that 3-on-1 break.
Well, and sometimes if you don't feel comfortable with the ball in your hands, don't flip it up, back it out of there, and get yourself settled on the offensive end.
Lindsey Allen once again making her 146th consecutive start, a Notre Dame record.
This feels like a ball game a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Ball's bouncing off shoulders, heads, arms. Robert Morris trying to settle themselves down and get a good half-court possession there.
Mia Adams down the lane, lays it up a little bit strong, and Gumbawale with the easy rebound.
I think she took a peek out of the corner of her eye at Turner down underneath.
Absolutely, so would I. Count the basket.
Really nice pass, really nice pass.
Good unselfish play by Notre Dame, the basket and the foul.
For the scorer that Ogumbawale is, she has become a good passer in 2-on-1 and 3-on-2 situations.
Michaela Mulrain, number 21 in blue, just picked up her 3rd personal foul. Second team foul on Robert Morris. Only one team foul so far on Notre Dame. 7:30 remaining in the third.
Well, this is a dangerous time here for Robert Morris. If they want to stay in the game, they need some good possessions right here.
Trailing by 18. They trailed 39-25 at the half. If you weren't with us for the opening quarter, a very streaky opening quarter. Notre Dame led it 24-12. Nice unselfish play from Mulrain. Cross court to Megan Smith for the basket.
Great cut down the lane inside the defensive pressure.
One dribble, pull up, jump shot once again. And boy, she extended her game, Marina Mabry, as you pointed out, much more than just a spot up three-point shooter.
She's like Papa shot sometimes. I mean, just catch it and shoot it.
Yeah.
She doesn't have to think twice about it.
Mia Adams run off the three-point line. Back to Adams. Mabry now with 15 points on 7 of 9 shooting. Shot clock at 7. Smith can make a three. Off the side of the iron, Stamolamprou had it and lost it out of bounds. UConn, the #1 seed, along with Baylor, Notre Dame, and South Carolina. And of course, the competition, of course, always revolves around UConn and going for their 5th in a row. Give me a handful of teams, if it is a handful, that can challenge UConn.
Well, we're looking at one of them because Notre Dame's not afraid of them. You know, some teams get beat before they walk in the gym against UConn. Notre Dame is not one of them. If they get beat, it's because they just get out executed that particular day. But they have had enough success in history against Notre Dame. Baylor, if they have everybody healthy, certainly can be one of those teams. We'll talk about more later on.
Lindsey Allen now in double figures with 10, and Notre Dame with their biggest lead at 51-31. But who's gotten a lot of votes over the last decade or so, of course, is UConn. And UConn and Notre Dame back on December 7th played right here in South Bend. It was UConn winning that game 72-61. But when you get inside the box score, Notre Dame certainly has some room for improvement.
Yeah, Mabry and Agumbawale both struggled. Mabry was 1 for 8, Agumbawale 4 for 14, and you're not going to beat UConn doing that. As we were starting to talk about, you have other teams that feel like they can compete. Maryland played them in a very close game that I got a chance to see. Florida State, a 2-point, 1-possession game. You know, South Carolina certainly would like another crack at them, and there's probably several other teams that want a shot. But it's not a given this time. I mean, you know, they're not blowing everybody out, yet they're still great.
Texas A&M in their section of the draw, along with a very good team with Jordan Canada at the point for UCLA.
Well, you got Duke and Maryland in their section, so they're gonna have to work to get just to the Final Four.
Well, it's not supposed to be easy to win a national championship, although sometimes UConn has made it look that way. They have been so very superior. 11 national championships in all, and 4 straight. And
that's a tough blocking foul there for Stamolamprou to take.
First personal foul on the outstanding all-conference point guard out of Thessaloniki, Greece. Sort of a Greek connection for Robert Morris. Artemis Spanou,
who I had in my training camp.
A record holder for Robert Morris, their leading scorer, and Stamolamprou among the category leaders. Rebounds, assists, steals, and of course scoring for the Colonials.
She was the NEC Player of the Year as well as the tournament MVP, so she's had quite a season.
Another three-pointer on the way, looking very comfortable. Jaylynn Burton-Jones, no fear, came in, went right to the rack.
She doesn't play that many minutes, but she said, what the heck? I'm out here.
She's only played in 16, now make it 17 games, 8 minutes per game. Nice little high-low. And Agumbawale with another basket, or yes, that was Agumbawale.
Yeah, Navarro gave me the my bad one, but everybody knew it was anyway.
Navarro steps inside, one dribble, in and out. Rebound taken nicely. Christina Nelson, the 6'4" senior, on the floor now for Notre Dame. Agumbawale crossover dribble, takes it hard to the basket, and a blocking foul will be called, so it'll be Notre Dame free throws, Mike, when we come back.
Well, here's the play on the back door in the lane. thread the needle pass by Nelson. Ogunbowale with the finish. Another look from the other angle. Bounce pass between the defenders. Nice play. And they have gone without her now for about 3 weeks. And her status for the rest of the tournament is still a little bit in question. We'll see what they do with her this weekend. The bottom half, you've got, Mississippi State, you've got DePaul, you've got Washington, Oklahoma on that side of the bracket. So, there's going to be some tough competition for Baylor going through.
Look, even though the
Louisville and Tennessee,
even though the Lady Vols have struggled and been very, very up and down all season long, you can't have an NCAA tournament and not talk about them. They struggled last year at times and made it all the way to the Elite Eight. What about their chances to make an impact on this field?
A good Tennessee game with a team, when they play well, they're really good. Diamond Shields, Mercedes Russell have carried them in some big games. Had a big win against Mississippi State in the last week of the regular season. Had some great battles with Kentucky, so they're a factor.
Beat South Carolina in Columbia.
In Columbia.
But then there were some other results on the negative side. A lose to Ole Miss, a lose to Auburn, lose to Alabama in the tournament. And those are just head scratchers with their sort of talent.
Well, I think they just, because you have teams that are streaky shooting teams, you live and die with that. And if you're having one of those bad shooting nights, you're going home.
Good work by Ogunbowale, number 24, getting the offensive rebound for Notre Dame inside of 3 minutes remaining in the third, and a commanding lead for the 30-3 Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
They've been trying to get in their Princeton offense to get Ogunbowale's cuts to the basket. Good job by Robert Morris of denying her.
Maybe a frustration foul in the backcourt committed by Ogunbowale. I want to remind the road to the Frozen Four ices up Sunday with a 2017 NCAA Hockey Selection Special presented by Northwestern Mutual at noon Eastern on ESPNU, and watch ESPN and visit NCAA.com, the home for all 90 NCAA championships. Mike Tebow, Paul Sunderland courtside, the opening round here of the Lexington Regional at Notre Dame. Notre Dame, of course, now playing out of the ACC, where since they have joined it, they have dominated the conference. 7 teams out of the ACC have advanced into the tournament. 4 of them are hosting the opening weekend as top 4 seeds. Very impressive performance by the conference.
Yeah, they've been great all year. I mean, Notre Dame at the top, but there's a lot of good teams in this conference. Duke, Florida State, Louisville, go down the list. North Carolina State's kind of been the surprise team all year. They have acquitted themselves well all season.
We were talking about North Carolina State playing Texas next up, and you say if it's good North Carolina State, that could be a problem for the Longhorns.
Yeah, they've upset some teams, and then they, just like you said about Tennessee, you have some scratch your head losses after big wins.
Allie Petberg will come back on, replacing Lindsey Allen, and maybe Allen's work is done for the evening. 1:44 remaining, and now a 61-36 advantage for the Fighting Irish. Young with it on the perimeter against the shot clock. Pretty good rotation defense, and Robert Morris able to step in and draw the charge. Nadege Pluvios, 6-foot freshman out of Montreal, Canada, able to pick up the personal foul against the outstanding freshman Jackie Young, wearing number 5 for Notre Dame. Notre Dame led it 39-25 and have continued to extend that lead. Very, very efficient performances offensively by Marina Mabry with 15 points and Turner now with 13.
Stamolamprou 3.
Anna-Niki Stamolamprou has been very impressive from the very beginning. Had 8 quick points to answer the 10-0 start for Notre Dame, and has kept Robert Morris at least in the conversation. Inside of a minute remaining in the third.
Well, it's quite an adjustment for a player when you've played most of your career as a 2. You handle the ball some. But she's had to be almost a full-time point guard for the last few weeks.
Good deep post position. Shot is missed. Battle for the rebound taken by Azebo. Here comes Stamolamprou. Adams on the way with that 3-pointer. Now will Notre Dame hold for the final shot? They should. Shot clock and game clock separated by just a couple of ticks. Don't look like they're looking to hold, and they're not. That ball was deep inside the cylinder by freshman Aaron Boley and rattled out. So
I guess
now
when you have a 22-point lead, I guess you don't have to hold.
Time and score kind of goes out the window?
Yeah, a little bit. Especially if you're feeling it, or it's a heat check.
Well, I looked over at Muffet McGraw, outstanding head coach. Speaking of heat check, wild shot by Stamolamprou. And Muffet McGraw did not change her pose as her team was readying for the final shot of the third quarter. Teams will head to the sideline here at South Bend. Notre Dame leading 61-39. 12 of 16 from the floor.
Yeah, as a coach, you look down and you're starting the fourth quarter and you have 4 starters in double figures and you're shooting a great percentage. You got to feel really good about what your team's done today.
And Notre Dame taking a cue from Agumbawali and Mabry, 9 of 13 as a team in the third quarter to extend what was a 14-point lead after the first 3 minutes.
And Turner gets right back to a block shot to start the quarter.
Pull-up jump shot. Michael Johnson again out of action, save for 8 minutes since the third week in January. When we were at practice the last couple of days, I pulled over one of the coaches and then one of the sports information directors, and I said, who is number 14? She's making a difference out here in practice.
Yeah, those are what I call bonus points, because when you get somebody who has not been that involved in the offense right away, that's really nice.
Ball off the front of the iron, and a foul is going to be called against Notre Dame as we're just underway here in the fourth quarter. Personal foul on Jackie Young.
When Mabry misses a shot like that, I'm almost in shock.
I know.
I'm shooting the ball. It's like, okay, that's in. Oh, no, it's not.
Well, her fundamentals are so good, and you know that, Mike, from watching players in the NBA for years in the WNBA. I mean, her elbow in, on balance, squared up. Just an outstanding shooter, number 3 in white. Azebo turning in on Turner. Can't get that over the front of the iron. Turner, let's look at her rebound numbers. Turner now with 9 rebounds. Quick attack of the basket once again by Allen.
In transition, if you don't build a wall in front of her, she's going to get through the gaps.
Allen now with 14 points on 6 of 8 shooting.
Well, and Charlie Biscaglia told us yesterday that his first primary thing with his players was, we can't let them get transition layups. We got to build a wall, keep the ball side, make them play in the half court. But Allen, see, there's another gap.
Easier said than done.
Too unselfish right there. She scored.
Had a free path right to the front of the rim, looking for a teammate. But talking to her yesterday, as we did after practice, very businesslike, obviously very mature now in her final season with Notre Dame. But you talked about running the offense, and it was like a tutorial.
Yeah,
Want to go here?
Clinic, yep.
Oh, she's got it going on as far as point guards are concerned.
Yeah, I got to know who's hot and what angles they have and what the mismatch is. And as a coach, you love hearing that from your point guard. And she started every game since she walked in this, or played in every game since she walked into this building.
146 in a row. Brianna Turner going to the sideline, 13 points to go along now with 10 rebounds. Stamolamprou pretty efficient from outside the arc, and she can use that, but not contagious with her teammates.
No, she's the only one making them. She's made 5, I guess, now. Everybody else has made 1.
19 points for Stamolamprou, 5 of 9, as you pointed out, Mike, from outside the arc. 66-42, very comfortable advantage for the 30-3 Notre Dame Fighting Irish. The only loss at UConn here. At UConn here. Explain that one for me.
I knew what you thought you meant.
To UConn here at Tennessee after leading by 15, and then at North Carolina State.
And there again, that's the North Carolina State we were talking about. They win some of those, and then they'll lose a game. You just say, wait a minute.
Foul is going to be called on Notre Dame's Mabry, and Rebecca Navarro will be headed to the free throw line. Second foul on Mabry. Rebecca Navarro averaging 9 points on the season out of Spain. The 5'11 senior concluding her intercollegiate career, a 79% free throw shooter, good with the first.
Well, the one thing, if you're a player at Notre Dame, you know, sometimes when you get games like this, you think, oh, I'm never going to get back in. We're going to play everybody. When you only got 9 healthy players, you know everybody's going to get to play.
Both Free throws up and good.
They've never gotten Navarro going from the perimeter like she normally does.
How would you rate, and speaking of that, how would you rate Notre Dame as a defensive team?
I think they are a good defensive team. I think they'd be a little bit better on some nights. I mean, when you have a team that holds people to 39%, you're already a good team. I think there are nights they can be more special, partly against penetrant from the perimeter. I think some of their players have gotten comfortable knowing that Turner will clean up the mess for them, and they funnel her to it. But I think sometimes you got to take a little bit more individual pride, and I'm not letting mine get to that point where Brianna has to help. They've gone back to the zone here again.
Stamolamprou feeling it, and that one off the back of the iron. Here comes Allen.
Oh, great look off. She drew the defense one side, knowing all the way she was going to pass it to Ogunbowale.
Loose ball down inside. Boley going after it, along with several players in the blue from Robert Morris, the Colonials. .6:15 left in this one, and a 66-44 advantage. Purdue has already won earlier today, a 74-62 win over a very good team, the champions of the Horizon League out of Green Bay. Very hard-fought basketball game. Green Bay just could not make a three. That ball in and out. Good rebound by Bowler. Unselfish play right at the front of the rim. Good by Nelson. Really
great
good
pass and catch.
Notre Dame now with 36 points in the paint to only 14. No surprise there for Robert Morris. Again, Notre Dame the number 1 seed. Robert Morris the 16 seed. Pull-up jump shot by Navarro. And in the men's tournament, the 16 has never beaten the 1, but it has been done in the women's tournament several years ago. It's Harvard, I believe, over Stanford.
Over
16 versus 1. Stanford was really depleted because of injury, but historic victory.
Allison Feaster game for Harvard.
Yeah.
Allison played the WNBA for a long time. That was a huge win.
Oh, what a pass down inside. Nelson with the basket. Another assist to the all-time leader. Lindsey Allen, number 15 in white for Notre Dame.
This makes the game look easy, not only for herself, but for her teammates.
Ogunbowale off the miss, behind the back pass. Mustard's off the hot dog, at least for the moment. Ogunbowale goes to track that down, and Notre Dame will reset.
And smiling as she backed it out. I'm sure she's going to hear about that, so she knows it. She, again, you know, it's an unselfish play, but sometimes you just got to go ahead and shoot the ball.
Ball's on the floor, and a held ball called by the official. Good sportsmanship there. We'll step aside, and once again, Notre Dame really getting it done.
We got Lindsey Allen at the top, looks the defense off. We're Nelson to cut, right on time, right on the hands.
You know there ain't no stopping.
Streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN. Back with Mike Tebow on Paul Sunderland here at Notre Dame on St. Patrick's Day. And so far it has been a celebration for the number 1 seed Fighting Irish. A good performance by Robert Morris, but just overwhelmed a little bit here in the second half. Lindsey limited to some foul trouble in the first half, but what efficiency and what balance. Turner, Mabry, Ogunbowale.
4 players in double figures, a couple in double figures rebounding, and Lindsey Allen with 14, 8, and 6. That's a pretty good day in 27 minutes.
Shot clock at 7. Beckberg looking for a cutter, will throw one up. Couldn't find anywhere to go. Just put the ball up on the rim.
Can't turn it over if you shoot it.
And don't eat it with the shot clock winding down. Just get it up on the rim.
This is, you know, in a blowout like this, this is time for Muffin McGraw to get some of her bench players some good time on the floor to work on rhythm and timing. You know, for Young and Nelson, and Michael Johnson, you know, they Boley, they can get a lot done right now.
Navarro, long three-pointer out of the corner and buries that one against the...
And Despite the score, I think Robert Morris has acquitted themselves fairly well today.
Absolutely. They have had another championship season, 14-4 in the Northeast Conference. They won the postseason tournament as Jackie Young attacks the basket. You know, and for those of you who have followed college basketball in Notre Dame on the year, and if you're wondering about Catherine Westbeld, she has been held out at tonight's game. She was dressed, but along the sideline, the 6'2 junior out of Kettering, Ohio, has had a lingering ankle problem all season long. And the Notre Dame staff telling us earlier today they're hopeful that she will play on Sunday against a very good team from Purdue.
I think they're in the management mode right now. If they can play her a little bit on Sunday and she helps them, and then get another week before they play again, they can get it that much healthier.
You look at Notre Dame's section of the draw. They'll get Purdue next, Kentucky there also, along with Texas. Stanford, the team that knocked Notre Dame out last year in the same regional in Lexington, also lurking at the number 2 seed.
And you and I saw Stanford, you know, about 10 days ago, and they were really good in their win against Oregon State in the Pac-12 final. They will have game plans for everybody.
I'm sure you saw the highlights, but speaking of Stanford, a masterful defensive game plan by Tara Vanderveer against Sidney Weiss and Oregon State. Stanford won the postseason tournament, and Oregon State barely survived earlier this evening, winning by 1 over Long Beach State.
Oregon State struggling a little bit on offense right now, and I'm sure people have taken some pages out of Stanford's defensive playbook to play against Oregon State.
Nice look by Boley out of the corner for a three-point make. Mike, let's talk a little bit about tomorrow, the matchup as you see it between the Fighting Irish and the Boilermakers. Obviously a rivalry in Hoosier State. Excuse me, I said Saturday. Thank you very much. It's coming up on Sunday. The time still to be determined. So check your tournament website. And now for our impact performance, the Capital One Cup.
Well, we got Brianna Turner in post. We got Lindsey Allen driving to the basket. We got Marina Mayberry with the pull-up. We got everybody involved. Agumbawali from 3. She's done everything. Rebounded, got in the lane, created. They've got great performances from their entire starting lineup.
That was our Capital One Cup impact performance. Really, really solid balance. A very, if you will, professional performance by Notre Dame.
And this was a Stamolamprou foul. I'm tired. Let me get out of the game, because she knew she was coming out. And she's it's a tough finish for her. Player of the year in the NEC. Her last game, getting a hug from Coach Charlie Viscalia. Great game for her.
A very, very good basketball player, and she will go on and make a living. She will play overseas and maybe get a look in the WNBA. But with just over a minute remaining, we got to touch a little bit on that upcoming matchup between Purdue and Notre Dame on Sunday.
Well, you got a couple things going. You know it's going to be great in-state rivalry, so the emotion's going to be high beyond the tournament itself. I think Purdue has been kind of looking forward to the challenge. The matchups are good. They don't have the size at Purdue to necessarily match up with Brianna Turner, but the point guard matchup, Morris and Lindsey Allen, that'll be a special one. Both all-conference performers. Both, seniors looking to play beyond college. I look forward to that. It's just going to be a great game.
And what a battle we're going to have between outstanding freshman Ariana Harris going up against Brianna Turner. That's something to look forward to as well.
Athletic, long, both catch the ball, both rebound, both block shots. That'll be fun.
As far as the series is concerned, this will be the 27th meeting all time. Purdue leads the series, but Notre Dame has won the last 7 in a row. They have not played since December 29th, 2012.
Well, that last 7 in a row has also, been during this time of the Notre Dame going to the Final Four era.
Yeah, Notre Dame's been pretty good for a while.
For a while. Well, as you said, early on, 6th in a row being a #1 seed, 6th time in a row in the tournament being a #1 seed. That's quite an accomplishment for any team.
7 Final Fours in total, 5 straight. from 2011 to 2015. But of course, UConn had a little bit to say, who eventually was the national champion. Another senior, Rebecca Navarro, out of Spain. Played very, very well for the Colonials out of Robert Morris. They will finish the season at 22-11 and will open the conference regular season and tournament for the last 3 out of 4 years. Time running down. And a really solid performance by Notre Dame. They led it by 14 at the half, took complete control in the 3rd quarter. The efficiency of Ogunbowale and Mabry really was too much for Robert Morris to handle.
Well, it's just the difference, you know, from the level of players when you get in a program like this.
Foley with the offensive rebound, puts that back up and in. And this one is going to come to a close. Notre Dame gets their 31st victory on the year. A solid performance from start to finish. Robert Morris played a really good basketball game, but the quality and the